Good evening and welcome to a first Fat Cat Capital Earning and Learning. I'm here. I'm your host, DJ Fat Cat L. I'm going to introduce my co-host. Her name is Queen B. Welcome. Welcome, Queen B. How are you?
I'm fancy. How you doing?
Good, good. We're going to get right on into this because ain't no time wasting when it comes to earning this money, earning and learning. We got to give it to them raw. You ready?
I hear you. I hear you. Do it.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
ready. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So the topics we're gonna be covering, basically, we ain't gonna start um, so high up on the pole. We ain't gonna give none of that stock and trading just yet, because we know this is baby talk. So we're gonna start out with the basics. And I know something you told me the other time. What stuck in my mind was the 10-10-10 rule, which I thought was interesting, and I never gave it a name like that. So let's talk about your approach to managing money and finance and things like that. I'll start out by saying, for me personally, if you don't have the the foundation of managing, budgeting, and those sorts of things, it makes it hard for you to talk about stocks and trading and things of that nature, because we take that's another level altogether once we start talking about that. So that's why I see it so fitting that we first start with the basics. How do you get to a point where you can have enough saved up or put aside so that you can start thinking about some other options? I'll let you take it from there. What's your approach to managing money from the beginning, soup to nuts? How do you handle setting up budgets? How do you handle putting money aside to start getting to a point which you can start investing? Okay, I think your audio may be a little bit delayed, so you may hear me, you may not hear me. Oh, there you go. Go ahead.
I hear you. I hear you. For a lot of people say budgets. I'm not going to budget. Like a spreadsheet. This before I don't take a spreadsheet and say that this is set up for this and this is set up for that. But I recommend that what works for me. Um, but it is important for people that need things up under control. For me, it's more about, like I said, the 10-10-10. Take 10%, and I always pay myself first, and I take 10% and I put it in a savings account or whatever type of account it is. 10% for my investing. But I know we said we weren't going to testing, but that's just what I do. I think you got to be focused. I think what worked best for me was when I started to where my money was going. Um, but I'm gonna reiterate, I don't sit down and do a budget. I don't like spreadsheets. I count. I know how much money I need to pay the bills. I put money in what it is. Um, Once I talk to you, I went back and tried budget, and it's just not for me. Anything that's gonna keep me box, I can't do it. You know, I don't like being a type person where, okay, I'm a budget dollars for entertainment. For me, that's putting me in a box. I can't do it. The other people that say it works for them, it do not work for me. It just don't. Um, I, what works for you? I guess because I'm not a numbers person, so maybe that's it. And I did a little spreadsheet, and the same day I went against this. So I just can't be put this. I write down everything that I accomplish. If I this week I'm only gonna spend $100. It's a budgeting, just that my budget is here as opposed to being a piece of paper. When I do it that way, I find that I could stick to it as opposed to putting it on paper and doing it that way, if that makes sense. But that's like I'm not a number person. That's why I'm glad me and you hooked up because now I could be a little bit more. I did great, saying that I didn't have a budget. And I'm not have a budget. I just don't put it on paper.
I totally understand. You want to have a feeling at least that you're living life without limitations, and you want to feel that freedom and that flexibility to be able to feel that type of way. Um, I'm somewhat of the same, and in the sense that I do like to live my life without feeling like I have such limitations. But I also realized that in order for me to get to that level, some kind of planning on this end had to be made so that I could, get to the point where, I got the platinum card and I'm in the airport and I'm in the little lounge area. And I was talking the other day about this, well, not to you, but someone else. I felt a little bad, like off, because I was like one of the only black people when you go to these lounges. I don't know if you know what the lounges at the airport. It's like if you have a American Express Platinum card, there's lounge areas you can wait for your plane. You don't have to be out in the main area, and they be serving all kind of, filet mignon and all this high end stuff, and it's like exclusive little club. It's like a sky bar, something like that they call it. And so, in order for me to live a certain lifestyle, if I want to go to Ritz Carlton and that's my thing and I like doing that, I realized that I had to plan early on, and that meant I had to make some sacrifices so that I could get to the point that I could live life without limits. If you understand what I mean. So yeah, in the beginning, I had to, you know, limit myself. You know, um, I was driving a Kia, now I'm driving BMW. That means I had to limit myself. I was not always able to go into the
Wait,
Sky
what's wrong
Bar,
with
or whatever
Kia?
they
I
call
got a
that thing.
yeah.
No, I loved the Kia. I know I loved it. I think it's great. I'm not commenting on the quality of the vehicle. I'm saying that when you said life without limits, like when I was in the Kia, it was a limit. That wasn't what I wanted to drive. That was an example of a limit. I went and grabbed what I wanted to drive because now I had no limit. So that's what I meant. Like when you talk about the limit, I understand you because when I was in the Kia, that wasn't what I wanted, but it was what I was limited to at the time. And then I eventually, with the planning, I was able to go and get the car I really wanted without limit. So everything is about balance. Like I might not start out with I'm gonna do everything with no limits. I started everything with a lot of limits, but I also understood that I'm doing these limits so that I can live life without limits. Just like people say, I want to be financially independent. Well, guess what? It takes some level of sacrifice to get to that level of independence. So for me, it was okay because I look at the bigger plan. I know why I'm eating peanut butter and jelly because I'm about to be over here. I know why I'm not going out there and doing that because I know what I'm about to do over here. So as long as I keep my mind on the bigger picture where I'm really trying to go, I don't mind cutting back over here because I already know what it is on that side. So I'm more of a sort of a vision looking at that big picture thing, and I don't care if I got to cut back here because I already know what the other side is. Not saying that works for everyone. Some people are like, look, I've got people that say this. You don't know if you're gonna die tomorrow. Live it up today. That's cool if that's how you live. And there's people that say something in between. So everybody's got to like fix their thinking to the point they feel comfortable. Some people want to be like, I'm spending it now because you never know about tomorrow. Some people about, I'm planning a nest egg. You might be like, oh, I'm having a nest egg so that I can chill later. So it's kind of, the same way when you think about building a nest egg. You're not spending it all now. You know that later on you're going to need a certain amount. So you're starting to take the 10, 10, 10, and you're saying, let me put some aside over for now and I'll enjoy something for later. And so it kind of goes hand in hand, if that makes sense. So let's just say we did
It does. It
your,
does.
yeah, we did your, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Something you said that I disagree with. post up the other day in reference to people wearing their money. Meaning that just because I look like this, or just because, don't judge my pockets based on what kind of car. Now, I love you. That's what I wanted. Not saying what's wrong with a BMW, but I never W. I mean, I had the Corvette, the Corvette. You know, so those things aren't important to me. Um, for me, I don't want people to have to look at me and say she got money. See, now I'm all casual. I'm not one of these people that like to dress up. If I want to dress up, I can dress up. So I'm not one that have to look like money. You know, I'm not one that like or the fancy, or as you said, sitting in the sky. I don't around a lot of people for one. So put me out there with the average people, because for me, that's where I see what's really going on. And it you know, you never know who you're going to run into out there in that lobby, because most of the people with money, if you look at boys, let's talk about Elon Musk. If you was to look at him, you would know that he's the richest man on the planet. You know, you wouldn't just but if he was, yeah, he's the richest man on the planet. Elon must be some people in the air, you know. So
Yeah, they call it the millionaire next door.
um, you know, right, right.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I believe that if you have the right mindset about money, the first thing is the respect. And it sounds crazy, but you have to respect money. And what I mean by that is, the minute you get money in
Oh,
your hand, if it's burning out your hand, or the minute you get a little extra, you're like, oh, I got to spend it. I mean, that means you don't really value the fact that you have this opportunity to do something with this money, because you can grow that money or you can burn that money. So for me, it comes to a level of I respect my money. I respect it enough so that I could do the things that it is that I want to do. So if we talk about budgets, for example, I know that's not your favorite word because you already told me. The budget word is not the. I mean, you want to do it, but you just don't like the definition. I got you on that one. I got you. Trust and believe. Um, I would say that you got to. Look, you got a whole list of words. I'm writing them down. Apple. What was it? Apple? No, Amex. What was the other thing you said the other day? You said, oh, iPhone, uh, budget. These are words that are not
I
gonna
sold
make it in
Apple.
your
Apple
vocabulary.
is gone. I sold
Yeah.
it.
So no, I was talking about when you said about the iPhone. You said I don't want no iPhone, and me and iPhone is we on the outs, we on the out and outs. All right, so listen. All right, so here you got. Okay, so let's just say I'm the average guy, right? I'm an average person, right? I started out my life just like everyone else. I lived in, Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. My father was a civil service, driving train. I ain't had no special privileges. I ain't have no leg up. My family wasn't rich, none of that. But what I had was a desire to do better, to know more, to grow. So I took that passion and then I ran with that. So everything I did, even when it was in high school, I learned accounting in high school. I was in doing accounting. I took accounting classes, and when I found I was good at it, that's what made me want to choose that as a profession. Now I had many choices. I do many other things. I've done acting. I've done a lot of stuff. But when I think about the language of business, is why I chose accounting, because I said every company needs an accountant. No matter what company is out there, they need an accountant. So I looked at it that's the language of business. So that's why I first and foremost chose that. But now I didn't just want to use it as a career. I ran my life like it was a business. I have revenue and expenses. I don't even look at the word bills. I have revenue and expenses. That's how I run my life. So that's kind of how I operate based on it was a business. I have a cash flow statement. I have a financial statement. I have a balance sheet. Everything is, if I run my life like a business, then I'm looking at how businesses do. They look at the bottom line. They look at where they got to cut costs. You know how they be ready to fire people in a minute. They don't care about you. They're looking at what they got to cut. You got to cut costs. You got to go. It's not personal. It's just looking at it like what it is. So now, let's say you have that mindset as it go forward. When I got to cut, I got to cut. This time I got to cut cable. Oh, I got to cut cable. Oh, I ain't. It's not emotional. It's just I need to balance my budget. I need to balance it out. And with that, it just gives me a level of control and success. Now, I will say this: not a lot of people are numbers people, so you're definitely not in the you're not in the minority. You're in the majority. And I say that in all seriousness because people like dentists and doctors, they don't necessarily know numbers. They don't know numbers like an accountant. So they kind of rely on other people like myself to handle that. So that's cool. But here's what you can do. As long as you're saying, for example, your rule to 10, 10, 10 is a good one. There's nothing wrong with that. Think about it this way. You know how they say, they talk about, well, if you talk about from a Christian perspective, pay your tithing 10%. Okay, cool. You're already thinking about that mindset of taking a percentage of your money and putting it to the side, or pay yourself first. Okay, same thing. You know that at the end of the day, this
Right.
is gonna be your pot, which you can enjoy, and then the rest of this is gotta handle whatever investing, expenses, bills, whatever. That's not a bad thinking. So even if you don't get into the whole numbers thing, you do have a foundation to build upon how you handle your money. And if you have a respect for your money, you're not just going to be blowing it every which way. Now, I will say this: I am like you. I don't necessarily think that a whole bunch of jewelry and all that gaudiness. I don't. I mean, when I do something, I don't really care if somebody's watching, if I'm driving a car or not. I don't do anything for people looking at me. I like what I like. I like a sports car. I like stick shift cars. I like racing cars. I don't care if somebody's watching me or not. That's not my interest because I definitely don't put on no horse and pony show for no one. And extra jewelry and all that. I haven't worn rings in years, for example. You know what I'm saying? So that's not my thing. But do I like what I like? If I want to go on a yacht and do a yacht weekend cruise, that's what I want to do, and I want to be able to do it without somebody saying I can't do it. If I want to ride a private jet, that's what I want to do, and I want to do it without somebody saying I can't do it. So my life is all about the possibilities of
Right.
what I can do when I can do it if I want to do it. It definitely ain't for nobody else. I don't care if they see me or not see me. I ain't necessarily taking pictures if I'm going on the jet or with all that old craziness. That's just dumb. Hold on a second.
Wait, give me 1 second. Hello. Yeah, I'm
I
doing a
had,
show.
yeah, so anyway, let's get. I'll
Text me.
say that to say this. My first thought of managing money is um, living within your means. That's the first important rule. Living within your means, meaning I'm not saying again, you might have a different philosophy of how you approach it. But at the end of the day, if you spend more than you make, that mathematics is not going to add up. It don't matter how you, whatever terminology we use is cool, but we definitely can't outspend more than what we make. So at first, people have to commit to that, and then after they commit to that, they can start thinking about how they can start having some money for investing. Oh, your camera is getting wishy washy. Oh, okay, cool. So let's just say we did what you did. We did the
Really?
10% rule, 10%, 10%, 10%. And we've committed to the fact that we're going to live within our means. So half of this is just changing your thinking. Half of this is just changing how you think about respecting money, how you live within your means, how you're not out to impress nobody. Like everybody, they get their children and they want to buy Jordans for. Oh, my kids ain't never had no Jordans. I'm not doing none of that because I'm gonna teach my kids to respect money and have value for money. And so at the end of the day, they're not going out spending $200 on a Jordan. Now here's the thing: if you feel that's what you want to do for your kids, I'm always gonna tell people you could do that. But then when you can't do certain things and you're limited because of those types of decisions, don't wonder why. If you spend every weekend at a club and you blow $50 to $100 on average, and a nice night out of the club, and then you say, well, why can't you live the lifestyle that you really want to live? because you have not made a decision to limit yourself in the sense that you have to respect your money. If you plan to get down here and be one of the better living situations, let's go with the other people that started out. Warren Buffett, who's decided, I'm just going to buy one house and I'm not going to keep on flipping houses and I'm going to pay it off. That was a limitation. He could have flipped out and got some old big old houses, big old mansions, but he said, I'm going to limit myself because I see the bigger picture. You know what I mean? So everybody has to make a decision. And that's the thing, that's how I feel about that. But, what's your take on it? I don't want to monopolize the mic, so I'm going to flip it back to you for a minute.
Okay, so recently, well, you already know one of my favorites to listen to is Reverend Ike. And one of the things that Reverend Ike say, he gave up poverty thinking. So I no longer think on it. And when I say that, I'm gonna piggyback off of what you said about if you have a bill, you got to cut back. See, I don't think like that. If I know that my cable coming up and I'm a little short, then I'll be like, what am I going to do? I need to get one this week because I'm not giving up my cable bill. Giving up my cable bill is probably thinking for me. It's like I don't have faith, my ability to get that money that I need. So no more poverty thinking for me. So what I think, like a prime example, a client that I'm supposed to have tomorrow got put in the hospital. So the next thing I said is, okay, get that income, that client, how income, so box. So I got if I had went to see the client. So that's my to think. Okay, what am I going to have to do to compensate for that loss? Would not, I got to. If I could have an idea up, then I can have money right here. That's the level of thinking that I'm on. When you read books like Think and Grow Rich, As a Man Thinketh, the book, it teaches you to know that you're gonna get that. You're gonna get what you need because if you are constantly saying, I can't or I can't afford, then you're not gonna be able to afford it. You gotta change that mindset. Change that mindset. And I'm not saying that because you have that mindset that you're not going to have a couple of minor setbacks. But I no lack. I know that if I need that the universe or me, I'm going to get that idea so that I can be. But I know everybody's not on that level of thinking. I know I have confidence in self. So I agree with you. I agree totally. People need focus. But when you're focused, don't put yourself in a place where you're thinking, I can't. Because when you say you can't, guess what? You can't. You can't. But I agree with you because every day comes in, I don't care if I get 50 cents, I'm taking 10% of that 50 cent and I'm putting it on my dress. If I find a penny outside in the street, now I know you can't get 10% of a penny, but I take that over there and let it. So you gotta focus and you gotta have goals. You gotta so and so this year with a plan. So I'm focusing. I'm focused on what I want because just like you, I didn't come from a family with money. I bought my first house when I was 19. I was in the Marine Corps. I lost that house. I had a Corvette. You know, I was young and a little cray cray. Kept getting all them tickets, so the wasn't for me. But you got to figure out where you want to go, and that's one of the reasons I'm glad we're doing this show. Know that you have to focus, and you have to have financial literacy. If you're not going to make it, teaching these kids to balance a checkbook. People don't do checks no more. I mean, I know some older people, but nobody's teaching these kids about credit. the good side of credit. Now, I don't use credit cards. I use credit cards for one thing and one thing only. I fill my car up. At the end of the month, I pay that bill off. Anything else, if I can't pay cash for it, I'm not getting it. And my car is financed and my house is financed. That's it. Nothing. Um, but that's just me. But one about this show is that with telling my son about you today, I was like, you need to get with that. I say he could teach you day trading. I say your mother, I'm not a day trader. I don't want to tell you every day. And it makes, oh, wait, okay, we're not talking about trading. But anyway, you gotta build a foundation. You know, the savings accounts. I learned a big lesson from them savings accounts. Discussed it on that last show. Um, I'm not a fan of savings accounts no more because I got kicked in the butt last year with a savings account.
Mhm.
But it's you gotta be able to build up that emergency fund. You gotta have that emergency fund, and whether your emergency fund is $300, $200, $50, but do that emergency fund. Listen to a show that of it said the average American don't have $300 in a savings account and have a fit when I don't have a savings account. So
Right.
we got to teach people fundamentals. Even if you $5 somewhere, I don't care where you put it. Like I said, I ain't with them damn accounts, no. But even if you put $5 somewhere, and so we need people like you that could teach people how to do a budget. A lot of people don't know how to budget. They don't know that programs that they could use. And maybe one day you could go the fundamentals of start with a budget. Like when you bills, you don't call it bills. I call it bill. Coming in my pocket is going in somebody else's pocket. It's a bill. But teach like with me, because I'm on a I like paying everything on the first. Everything. I mean, I pay everything on the first. Everything. I don't care if it's due 15. It's on the first. But everybody don't have it. So getting with you, and that's the good thing about you, is because you have that accounting experience. I can never. You don't want me to
Yeah.
handle your money. No, you don't want me to handle your money. So I like the fact that we're dialoguing, and people could see your part of it. Because I look at money metaphysically, energy. The fact that you said your money, you have. He said, you piss off a woman, things about money, money don't like me. Oh, you think I'm dirty? Okay, I ain't coming to you. So when you say kind of smile, because that's the same concept that Reverend Knight teaches. Back to out because both of us like to go on and on and on and on. So that's one thing we need to look at is actually teaching people how to budget.
Yeah. Check your audio. I get a little bit of feedback on you, but yeah, I definitely understand your point about the thinking in
Okay.
abundance. I would definitely say I agree with that. You do have to have, if we're taking it outside of the physical plane, if we're taking it to the next level, then there's that knowing, that knowing that it's going to work in the way that you want it to work. The knowing, you know, that has to be part of the equation. We have been, I sort of convinced that we should think on hope and just hope and faith and belief, and we haven't been taught to be in the knowing. I know it's going to go down. I know what's going to happen next. And you have to get into the knowing of thyself in order to feel the way you're thinking now. So that's another level that people have to rise to as well. The knowing that it's going to go down that the way you need it to go down is the second part of the equation. Because after we talk about just the physical numbers or the physical budgets or the physical, it's the knowing. So that goes back to why we talking about the mindset. Like I know, like I said, what's gonna happen next. I ain't wondering. And then you go with that mindset and you go and create. Whether it means create more revenue, create the pathway for you to get from A to B, or create whatever it is that you're trying to set out to do. So you have to have that mindset of, like you said, the knowing is really where you're talking about, and that's another level of retraining, reprogramming the brain from the I hope it goes out all right. I hope it turns out all right. Maybe it will. Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna base it on hope. Change it from that to the no. I know it's going down. I'm about to do this right here. Like if you see me you see me building this network and everything, it can sound batty to people. I know it's going down because I'm already in the middle. I'm in the middle of the tornado. I'm in the center of the tornado, so I can see everything. And I'll be like, I ain't worried about what so so saying. Okay, keep moving next, because I already know what I'm doing. That's the no. I know what I'm creating, so I'm not wondering. That's what you're doing. You're saying you know that you could go out and generate the next level of revenue, and then you go and manifest what you know. The only difference between those two statements is that even if I know I could manifest the extra income, do I want to spend that extra money on that particular expense? For me, the answer is no. Even if I did manifest 10 times the amount I might need, I have to then make the decision, what do I want to do with this extra revenue? Do I want to take this extra revenue and flip it? Or do I want to take this extra revenue and put it on an expense? That's really the only difference for me with that equation. I would say, no, I don't care. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. I was doing cable, and then I said, let me get off cable. Been on it for years. I went off it for like a couple months or whatever. I was trying to see what I wanted to do because I wasn't really watching TV. I was so busy building the network and this and that. I really in 24 hours, I ain't got time to turn the TV and enjoy it. It's 2 months other work. I'm doing apps. I'm doing this. I ain't got that kind of time. So I moved it out the way. And then I picked up like the individual channels because right now, as you can tell, there's a transition in happening in TV and streaming and whatnot, where you can pick up each individual station. CBS is $6.99. Okay, well, I might need that. It's four major networks. Do I need news for all of them? No, I might need one. Okay, cool. So then I moved from that over to like the YouTube TV, which was like it's more like I can determine when I want to watch the program because it's so designed really with that in mind. Not to say that the others don't do it, but it's more like whenever I get around to it, if I feel like I want to watch it, cool. So I might have made a decision to pull back on some particular thing. But what I did do is I brought in other business expenses to run this business. So when I stopped spending money on the entertainment side, I used that extra revenue to create this business that I'm running now. So wherever I had to do some other things on this side, that's where that revenue went to. It went to, okay, I need to have this particular restreaming service. Boom. What is that going to do? It's going to create more revenue for me. So I mean, that's kind of what I would do. I might reshuffle the deck with that if I don't technically lower an expense all the way out the door. But getting back to what you were saying about the thinking and the knowing, that is a whole nother level. Meaning, like they literally have to give up and abandon what they've been taught, which ain't easy for a lot of people. You know good and well how many people are raised a certain way by their parents or their grandparents or great grandparents, and that thinking is hard to undo in some people's mind. It's very hard. It's almost scary to think that they could think another way, another possible way. So if we take it as a whole, the education. Oh, and by the way, footnote: if you are looking for any kind of one-to-one counseling, I do it. Not a big deal. You just hit me up. You know my email address. If you don't, wpkbmedia@gmail.com. We can discuss it on an individual basis. But as a whole, the basic foundation is everything that we talk about is still the basics. How to stop spending on your money, how to respect your dollar when you do get some extra, how to maintain your money, because people get in the lottery and then they go broke. So, well, guess what? They don't know how to manage money. It don't matter they got a million. They spent 1,000,001. So therefore, it don't matter. Now, the sad thing is, with today's society and all these ways of people making money with Cash App and everything, people are coming into so much more access to money, even at younger ages. But without the respect for their money, they blowing right through it. I can get 5 bottles of champagne. I'm gonna make more money tomorrow.
Yep.
And that whole mentality, I'm gonna make more tomorrow.
Hmm.
I'm gonna get more tomorrow. And so you really ain't growing. Now, the next dude, he's done bought X amount of stock. He's thinking 5 years down the line that this stock is gonna be up this much amount of money. He doesn't need to spend his money right now on this champagne. He wants to buy something else down there in 5 years. So he gonna buy some stock that's gonna accumulate to a certain level in that 5 year period. And that's what I mean by you might not get what you want right now because you're planning for the future. That's how I think. Like if I pay off this house or I want to buy $1 million house, okay, this is a $250,000 house. That means that's 25% down on the million. Let's just say, for example, I was thinking like that. Well, I want to pay this house off because if I sell it, I'm gonna have a $250,000. That's 25% on the mill. Why do I want a mill? A mill house is gonna appreciate by maybe 500,000 or more, and it might not appreciate the same amount on this house. I don't want it because it's $1 million house. I want it because it will appreciate at a greater value. So this $250,000 house, I pay it off. I got $250,000. I go put 25% down on the mill, and then 5 years that mill won't be worth like 1.5. You see what I'm saying? So that's the kind of strategy thinking that you have to have. That's going back to how I think as a business. I think as a business, like as a chess player, because I'm a chess player. So I'm thinking as a strategy. Like, what am I doing this for now? I'm doing this now because I'm gonna do that later. When I was getting my degree, what am I getting this degree for now? Because I'm gonna do this later. When I got my degree, I said I don't want to work for nobody. I need to find out how to work for myself. So I never thought about working for nobody. I only thought about how soon I could get to be on my own. And that's all I thought about. Every day I went to the 9 to 5 was, how can I get on my own? And that's what kept me hungry. So let's go back to the basics. You agree? Basics is you got to understand money. You got to have the knowing that you can manifest it. You got to be able to know that you could go out and get it. That's in the mind. And when we talk about something a lot of people don't talk about, that whole like pineal gland, chakra, third eye, all that stuff. People that don't know about it, they're not even in that realm. But guess what? They can't even manifest what we talking about. And that's another blockage. They have a blockage in their mind. They have chosen not to eat things that will make them more conscious, not to read things that could make them more aware or awake, not to sleep a certain way, not to wash and clean themselves a certain way. All that takes you right down. And if you ain't willing to clean up all that, all those levels of chakra, then that's just another battle. I ain't saying you can't still get it done. It's just gonna be a harder battle. But the more they're willing to sacrifice cleaning up those chakra levels, the easier it's gonna be for them to manifest what they want to manifest. All doors are open. So they have to first decide whether they want to take the hard road or the easy road. Now, some people think build cleaning yourself up is the hard road, but it ain't. It's more harder to stay blind, deaf, and dumb than it is to just clean it up, to rise up. Cause now everything you do is gonna go your way. All doors is open. I'm knocking down all doors. I don't see no closed doors. I only see open doors. And they can only do that once they decide, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of me dreaming about a great life, but living a miserable life. I'm sick and tired of dreaming about heaven and living in hell. So that's another level. And if they don't decide that, then they're gonna take the long road. They might achieve the same thing, but it's gonna be a hell of a lot harder. Like taking a bag of rocks and walking up a mountain. That's what it is. So getting back to the physical, let's just say if they can manage to stop spending all their money and live below their means, that little bit of nickel, that dime, that quarter is the beginning of the investment stage. That's why when you talk about spending the next extra dollar on the cable, I'm like, no, take that little bit of money, put that aside for the investment. Take that little nickel, put it in the investment. Take that dime, put it in the investment. You feel me? That's why I'm like, nah. If I get some extra, it's going in that column.
I don't feel you. No. Uh-uh.
but to each his own. To each his own.
Because
To
my
each his own.
mindset, this
To
is
each his own.
how I am.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have my cable. I'm gonna do my
Uh
investment
huh.
because I do all of that.
Yes. Yes.
I don't have that. To me, this is just me. To me, it's lack thinking. You know, um,
Yes.
because I already
Even wait.
invest.
Even if you have
I
a
already
wait. Uh, no, I was
go
gonna
ahead.
say even if you have.
Look,
Okay. So my question is, do you think a lacking is it lacking if they invest the money, the extra money?
can't you do both?
What do you think?
I mean, because anytime,
No,
see,
I'm saying
that's
we're
where
talking
the
about.
10 comes in. Because when you get,
Go ahead.
see, all income that comes into me goes everywhere. Regardless of what comes in, I'm gonna put some money aside for investment. I'm gonna put some bank account, and then I'm gonna put some money to where if it's a bill I want to pay my cable bill, I can pay my cable bill. So for it's more about balance. You know, I don't anybody else. This is what works for
Yeah.
me because I'm on a of thinking to where I can't think lack because if I think lack, then I'm not saying that I have faith in my abilities. This is just I recommend this for nobody else. It takes a while to get to this level of consciousness. Um,
Yes.
stories where one time I needed $200. I was like, I'm not gonna get this $200. I get a knock on the door within 15 minutes, and somebody came in dollars. That's the level where I'm at. I mean, I had
Yeah.
$100 in my
And
bank account, but I didn't want to mess with my bank account. So I managed 100, didn't have it back, just gave it to me. Here you go, do what you need to do. So the level where I'm at. But if I was to start thinking, okay, I got a cable so that I can invest. No, our cable and I'm going to invest. But you have to get to a point in your life where you know, like he said, he hit the nail on the head when he said you have to know, you know, you can't have that debt, you know. And for me, if I'm saying, okay, I got to give a cable so that I can business, it no, that no. For me, no, that's not gonna work because I'm doubt. It's a book um by Catherine. I'm gonna have to. It'll probably come to my mind, but affirmations. I love affirmations. I wake in the morning and if I no, I always say there's gold dust in the air, which means there is money in the air. You just got to pull it out. You know, people say just pull money out. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You just have to have faith. And one of the I like about Catherine Ponder, um, I think it's called The Secret of Prosperity or something. One thing I like about her is she wrote this book. It was during the Great Depression. People were becoming millionaires. You know, they wasn't saying I can't pay cable. They were saying I'm going to make money. You know, I'm going to put this affirmation out here and have faith. And they became millionaires in the Great Depression. You know, me was unheard of. You know, I mean, you look at people nowadays, and I mean, just the situation that we're in now. Not saying their fault, but you have to get yourself to a position to where you're not dependent on nobody else but yourself. That's was important. You know, never put yourself in a position. There are things that you could do to get yourself out of that situation. That it took me. I'm 58 years old. Like this, I wasn't always comfortably, but when I started listening to back and revisited thinking, when I started listening to As a Man Thinketh, when I started listening the little red book. It works. That's mindset change. And then when I start being able to manifest things like Wall Street and I see a dime and I'd be like, oh, thank you, universe, thank you. Because when I picked up that dime, I knew he was coming when the store and I circulate my money because back to you. You circulate. I have a little thing that I say whenever I circulate money, I say I have a magic purse that never be depleted. Money comes back whenever I need. Always get the money back. Said this is a whole different level of thinking. But if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Higher to people that have been where I'm trying to get. Those are my mentors, some that have shown me that you could take your thoughts and you manifest. That's I know a lot of people didn't like it. I know a lot of people said Reverend Ike did this, but Reverend Ike was tapped into. He was on that level of abundance. He found the vortex work for him. So what we're trying to do for y'all, you a starting point. Don't think you're going to start. We're not going to say you can. You just have to make sure the mindset is on point. My start somewhere. Get with people like DJ Phat. He can help you. You don't want to get with me because your mind got to be woo to be on this level. But start even if you people, and I can't wait to me and have a conversation about investing. Is my baby. He is right now. I'm gonna say a quick story that's off topic. Morning, he gives me stock picks. I'm so excited. My phone waiting for his morning pick, and I get so excited when I see stocks that I have already bought on his morning pick. Like, I got that one. I got that one. I got that, and it just gives me so much joy that I made these my own to purchase these stocks. Now we're going to talk about stocks on a start somewhere. I totally agree with him. You need a budget. A budget just don't work for me. Start somewhere. A lot of people say I can't afford the money in the bank. Afford. Just say I'm going to. You take $1 aside every week. You would be surprised at how fast it multiplies. Once we get this basic conversation, he's going to teach you, not me. He's going to teach you putting your investment plan together because everybody should be for the. I'm not going to say the future because time is an illusion, but you should be planning for what you want. Every house, everybody don't want a car. Exactly. So as we progress on, we're going to start basics. Start a savings. Before you do anything else. The first thing you want to do, get an emergency fund. You don't want to be in a situation where your tire goes flat. You have a credit card for an emergency, but as I said earlier, I use it for gas, and then I pay it off at the end of the month. But have you an emergency credit card, or have you an emergency account so that in a situation you don't have to go borrow money to rectify that problem. It don't take that either. I mean, find you, and that's another thing I hope that we could do in the future is them a list of banks that actually give them more than that little measly percent that I have on a CD.
Yeah.
Lesson learned, Maybe sooner I would have did that, but anyway, that's my bad. But
you sound like you've been
get
burped.
that account. Yes, you know, so get that savings, even every time you get money that comes, throw it in a emergency fund, whether you keep it in the bank, which I don't know because the bank's not looking too good right
Right.
now. What you say? You think credit union is best or bank is best? On
Oh,
that.
from my perspective, I don't I don't subscribe to either. Well, before we go further, I definitely want to elaborate on what you just said, especially with the Federal Credit Union. Let me give the email for the process of getting started. It's actually fatcatcapital@gmail.com. It's PHATKATCAPITAL@gmail.com. Everybody, if you want to get started as far as getting your basics or down pack and you want us to talk about some budgets and managing and all of that stuff, start there. So the answer to your question about federal credit union versus a regular savings, I subscribe to neither. I will give you um, a couple of banks, Ally and Barclays Bank, but it's not the Barclays Bank in England. It's actually here in the States. It's online. Those two, if we're going to talk savings, which I'm not really big on that, they have the highest rates. You can check on that. But the better move as far as the low end of holding money, it would be a money market account, which actually will move with the market. So I never subscribe to savings except as a last resort. Not talking about your emergency fund. That's a separate thing. That's a given.
That's what I was
But
talking about.
it's
Emergency
go
fund.
ahead.
Yeah, for the emergency.
Yeah, for the emergency fund, the two highest interests is from last I
Okay,
checked,
so you
it's Ally and then Barclays. So those are two you'd have to check on. I haven't been in that arena in a while. But the last time I checked, that was that was the two that I would recommend. They're both online banks, so they can pay a higher rate because they don't have a lot of brick and mortar. I don't know if Ally moved to a brick and mortar. And let me qualify: Barclays Bank. There is a brick and mortar Barclays Bank. This one is a Barclays Bank .usa, so it's all online. That makes their cost less, and that allows them to give you a better rate. But not to get off topic, so let's go back to the basics. We talked about the basics of we need to start somewhere. The thinking that we're on, we're like almost like we're like three dimensions higher than what we're starting with as far as the individual people. We're hand holding them. So it's really going to be some hand holding at the very beginning. That's why I'm not even going in. We did elaborate, which is key. Talking about higher level is key to all of this. Getting them there is another story. So I want to hold their hand and I want to give them the confidence they need to just get up that ladder. But we are going to have to deal with them. We're going to have to deal with the 7 levels of chakra. We're going to have to deal with them levels, some 7 levels. If you ain't going to clean up your root chakra, you ain't going to clean up your reproductive chakra, you ain't going to clean up your heart chakra, your throat chakra, your pineal gland, or your crown, you ain't going to never get to that self actualization. You could call it Maslow's hierarchy. You could call it nirvana. You could call it uh, uh, pineal gland, third eye chakra. You could give it every name you want to give it that's in the physical plane. There is a dimension that you have to reach so that all doors are open. And like you were saying, which was which was true. Even when you read in biblical teachings and different things, there are some clues that supposedly help people to get where they gotta go. However, that's still stumbling in the dark. You gotta first know that this is out here, and then you got to reach for the brass ring. I know there's something out here. I know there's something that's beyond what I'm living, and you got to quest and have a thirst for that knowledge, for you to take this and grab it by the horns. Some people are even comfortable staying in the lower plane. I've heard many people say, "I just want to do this, that, the third, and work my 9 to 5 and get my paycheck and go home." They cool with it. This ain't for you. This program ain't for you, in the sense that if you are okay with what you're doing, then why are we even talking? It ain't no sense in me repairing something that's already fixed in your mind. But if you are thinking, I need to get better, I need to do better, I need to go further, then you're at the right stop. And Queen is giving you the insight from the third eye open, from the level of third eye open, myself included. I'm aware, I'm awake like none before. But it didn't. I didn't start that way. I started like every other individual I can think of, in the dark, and being told many concepts, many theories, many religious aspects, many religious views, and all the good stuff that you've been taught and fed as a baby. Then I stepped out. Then I woke up. Then I became alive, and then I began to live in the trueness and the fullness of who I am. You know, there are giants amongst men. Let me repeat that. There are giants amongst men. And I don't mean men as in male, because man defining as male and female, there are giants amongst us. So those who walk in the land, they call it the what do they call it? The kingdom of the valley of the kings. And some of us can stomp because they're giants. And then some of us are not at that level. And so those of us who are at the level, we understand, and we're trying to guide those who are not, who don't. Those who want to be guided. I'm never forcing you to be guided by something you don't want to be guided by. If you're comfortable with 9 to 5, you want to do whatever, do whatever. Knock yourself out. I ain't gonna force you. But I will tell you this: life becomes a lot easier, sweeter, and more rewarding if you step into the light. And it has to do with changing everything: what you eat, how you think, who you're around, what you consume, what you visualize, what you listen to, your frequency, your type of music. It's every aspect of your life that has to be dealt with. It could be things you dealt with in your past that you got to confront. It could be your present. It could be where you're trying to go. But if you're just comfortable, then it doesn't work. So you got to get a little uncomfortable before you can get comfortable. And it shouldn't take a pandemic for you to get uncomfortable. Uncomfortable should happen when you have
Right.
someone that stays on your neck in the form of oppression. Uncomfortable should come when you don't know if you can count on that next paycheck next week because you could get fired. A comfortable should come if you're living in the project and it's the project full of 1,000+ people on top of each other's necks, and then the next place got lots of space where they get to live it all out. Uncomfortable should come when you are in a position of lacking, oppression, without. All those things should trigger you, and not one good meal should change that. One good lick, as we say in the country, I call it a good lick, should change that. You should want to change it for the permanent. You should want to live in
Mm,
fullness for the permanent. This is not a temporary fix. This is not a good lick. This is a true coming to the truth, coming to the center, coming to the open. And then you don't worry. Then you don't lack. Then you don't have that mindset because I got this. I already know what's up. I already know how it's going down. And now you good. So we're talking from the perspective of self-actualization, knowledge of self. We're talking from a perspective in the physical plane when it comes to dealing with fiat, as we call it, not real currency or real money. Or we talking about anything that's in the physical plane. So how do you don't let me get into the fiat, but how do we take this and we manifest this? How do we take this and harness it to make it work for us? Real balling, if you want to use the term, is when you make your money work for you. As long as you working for money, you got it backwards.
that's right.
You got it backwards. It was never designed to be that. Capitalism, the definition is your money working for you. And as long as you working for your money, you got the cart before the horse. Now, that being said, everybody said, well, how do you get to that point? How do you get to the point where you're not working? One step at a time. You start thinking, I don't like the
Hmm.
situation I'm in. I don't like the life that I have now, and I want better. And every stride you do, every step you take is in purpose that I'm trying to get to another location. This is the journey. that I'm on. And if you think like that, you're building. It's just like when you build the pyramid, but the capstone is never put on. The reason why the capstone ain't put on, because your journey must continue. There's never a finite stage. That's why the pyramid is not with the cap on. It's a continuous building process. That's it in a nutshell. So you must always be in build mode, always be in journey mode, always be on the next, because that is what propels you forward to greatness. That's what propels you to greatness. If you get the capstone put on, it's a done deal. What if they finish building the pyramid? What you gonna do now? Can't do nothing. That's why the capstone is not on the top. That's why the eye is on the top. It keeps you propelling. So that's just a little bit of something, something. I don't want to get too heavy. Don't want to lose you, but
Yeah, because you was
that's what it is.
like,
You know.
yeah. So
So anyway, back to the physical plane.
I'm going to
Go
answer
ahead.
the. Some people say so. Go ahead. Where do I start? This is where I
But
say start. First of all, get you a vision board. Turn it around so you can see it. I have that I made back in 20. I also have one that I made in 2017, and the only thing I do is change the years. But if you get a, you have a something that you can. Am I? Do you hear me? Because it said okay. It looked like I was having issues, but anyway, something that you can see. Stop thinking, think that I can, because you can. Information that works for you. I am rich. I am wealthy. I am healthy. Money comes to me easily. Money comes to me effortlessly. First thing you have to do before any of this other stuff works, you got to change your mind. You have to. Now, the chakras and all that, don't worry about that yet. Change your mindset, because you rich people or people that have money that are well off and know what a damn third eye with a pineal gland and none of that other stuff is. First, change your mindset. You have to change your mindset. If you don't change your mindset, regardless of what you're hearing, it's going to make no sense. You got to change your mindset. Even if that money is going to come, still it is going to come. Now, I'm not saying that just because you're going to get it like that, because it's been some days where it was something that I was trying to manifest and it didn't come. But when it didn't come, it's because I had that little doubt in my head. It might not come exactly when you want. Have faith that it's going to come. That's step one. Step two, do it whether you do it like he suggests. Just for nobody to do what I do. No. The only other person I've seen if this works for my oldest daughter. She's the same way. She does it. I've heard though. Get you an emergency. You got to. You got to. You get your emergency fund. Those are the first things that you want to do. Then once you start your emergency fund, start thinking about a business. I like what about the 9 to 5. Now I just left 9 to 5 about 3 months ago. It took me, I was like, where am I going to get this extra from? Because I was working at Target. I like working at Target because I was around people. I'm a people person. You buy some shoes for my child, do this, can you do that? For me, that was fun. I I I love feeling that I'm helping people. So it took me a long time. I was with Target for 5 years. One day I said, you know what? I got faith in me. I know out here and without Target. I just told them, you know what? I'm done. I don't need this no more. I had no clue I was going to supplement the income, but I did it. I did it. I just, he said, enough is enough. I can, so find you a side hustle. Find something that's going to bring you some ease. You got Instacart. You got so many things that you could do where you're in the contractor, where you your own hours, you go to work when you work and make that extra income. Now, I'm not saying what's wrong with 9 to 5 because I enjoyed it. I did it for years and years. I enjoyed doing a 9 to 5. If with that money that you're from that 9 to 5, if you don't want to touch that money, get a side hustle. It's so many things. One of the booming businesses right now is senior care. I know everybody's not into senior care, but it is the older people are aging, living longer than the people. Easy, mom. I mean, you can do like me. I don't take any client that I gotta watch. I do people that need companionship care. It's a high demand for it. A high demand for it. But find something that you to get that money. I agree with him totally. You could take that extra yourself. Say invest in some contract, and you got that extra money to get that emergency fund. And emergency fund, and you get it extra. That's when you get with DJ Phat. You get with him, now to help you set up because you gotta. I like thing Reverend I say is money making money, work money work. That's my concept. I love when I could just sit back and get that passive income. That's the type of why I reach out to him. And that's why I had this waiting for his text every, to see what move I'm gonna make. If he say stay, I stay. He trying into that day trading, uh, you know. But we start talking about trading. I'm not a trader. He's a trader, but I love investing. I'm telling you, if y'all slept on Bitcoin, ooh, I'm talking about cashing out a little day fat. Yo, where we go put this at? So you got to get to where, like he said, your money. Now he taught me something today because I didn't know capitalism, and I'm not afraid to say what I don't know. I didn't know that meant make it for you. I don't know what the hell I thought it meant. So don't ever think or don't feel bad. Sometimes he texts me stuff, and I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? Because I don't know. I'm not afraid to say I don't know. But I finally got somebody in my life that could teach me. Ever be afraid to say you don't know. Bad if somebody no. But the most important thing that we're trying to do for y'all to start, have confidence in self.
Yep,
Have
absolutely.
a plan, whether it's a budget, a vision board. You think about it. I do have a budget. I got my damn vision board. And when I go to the store and I circulate my money, stop saying spend, because spend means it's not gonna come back. But when you circulate your money, it means it's gonna come back to you. I'll make a mental note. I just like a prime example. I went to a store today and I spent $54. And I spent my bag. I circulated $54. Now I came home, I'm like, okay. So I got to get $54 back. And boom, I look at my inbox and somebody, so that's my $54 back. And I got the money that I'm not gonna get from the client that wasn't there for tomorrow. So have a plan to your plan, to your plan. And when things don't go quite right, don't beat yourself up. One of the things that I like ponder is every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. If you don't remember nothing else I said, say this every day. In every way, I'm getting better and better. Before you night, for all the things today. And I am grateful for all things that I didn't today and ended with every day in every way. I am getting better and better, and watch your life change. Watch it change. I guarantee you it will change.
those are really
And I'm gonna hand it back to DJ Sack.
thank you, thank you. I was gonna say those are really inspiring words. Um, Speaking of which, the box that you talk about when you make those boxes, I think on the other show I am, I would love to definitely come on that show and elaborate more about the boxes that you create. Talk a little bit about what it does and how it can help people in their life.
Okay.
So that's definitely a segment that we're gonna cover in I am. So in case you haven't, there you go. Yeah, yeah, we're gonna give them some of that right over there. So if you haven't had a chance to see us on I Am All I Am, Queen B is also co-host with me on that show
Okay.
as well. So this is Fat Cat Capital Earning and Learning. We're trying to teach you guys about the basics when it comes to money and how to get your game on track. And if you are if you are in need of I like to call it a reprogramming. The email address is phatkatcapital@gmail.com. I'm thinking I may also do some type of a setup on screen where I can have as many as like 5 people on screen in which we can kind of do sort of a class kind of setup. But I would need you guys to email me, let me know what's going on. We could talk, but individually speaking, everybody needs their own budget. Everybody has their own situation. So at the end of the day, a group class is great, but it goes back to the one-on-one. And I will try to give you insight to help you understand a little bit better about the use of a spreadsheet. I'm not expecting you to be an accountant, but in order for us to really calculate some numbers, not just month to month, but 3 years out, 5 years out, 1 year out, we need to do that with some type of a control, mechanism. That control mechanism is the spreadsheet. So time now is 7:18. We'll probably go to about 7:30. Queen, you are really in your own lane, as you know, and I've told you before. My circle is a very small but highly refined circle of individuals that I can actually relate to, and vice versa. So you are among them. Um, I know I don't have to explain things to you that I might have to explain to someone else. So, I mean, I'm blessed in that regard that you're open enough that it's like I'm not reinventing the wheel, and also you're eager enough to want to ingest more or learn more, so you're not capsized or you're not capped off. So there's the balance. There's
Right.
the ones that are capped off, say, I've been doing it like this and I'm not trying to get that, yeah, yeah. And then there's the one that's like in the other side where they're just so close, they're so down here, the energy level that we can't even get in the same room. So, and this is not this is not a bang on my chest. It's to say we all relate to people in different ways. Now, let me say this, and it also is not to say I can't talk on your level or above your level. Look, I can talk street, I can talk very highly intellectual, I can do all of that stuff. That what I'm thinking about is on the mental side. Like if I'm talking to the person and they just out to lunch and it's like really in and out, I'm wasting my time. I'm not gonna waste my energy on somebody who really don't even care what the heck I'm talking about. So why would I do that? I'm winning. I'm winning with this. So I'm not, I'm winning with this strategy. So if you want to get and be
Right.
involved, fine. But I'm not going to have any love lost if you say you're just going to ignore what I'm saying. Go right ahead. And I'm not saying I know everything because guess what? I'm a journeyman, just like everyone else. I'm on my own journey, picking up tools as I go along, manifesting the manifesto. That's all it is to it. I enjoy the ride. I enjoy the journey. So my journey, which involves meeting people, talking to people, giving people, receiving from people, is all part of my journey. It's not limited to a 9 to 5 or a ride on the bus or a walk on the beach or any of that. It's just my journey. That's how I live my life. It's just a journey. Yes, I'm blessed like yourself. The VA pays me a tremendous amount of money to stay alive and enlighten people and do what I need to do. So I don't have to worry about that situation. I mean, I'm in good hands, better than Allstate.
Right.
But with that being said, it's incumbent upon me to go out and do the duty that I've been placed here to do. So I feel good that I'm in the right path. My blessings come by way of staying on my right path, not getting sidetracked. Whether it was with relationships or with some other shenanigans that people want to bring to your table, and you're like, I'm not trying to hear that shenanigans. I'm gonna keep it moving. So it takes a strong mindset to do that. And I'm talking about on the man's side, because men, we're gonna get into the mating game. Men can get sidetracked on the calf of a woman or the flirting or whatever. All of a sudden they on, and now you don't mess up your whole game because you was chasing this woman. I said if you follow a woman as much as you follow, if you follow your money as much as you follow women, you'd be a billionaire by now. If you track your money as much as you track women, you'll be a billionaire by now. And that's the problem. And then here's the other part of the coin. Here's the other part of the coin, because you know there's always two parts. If a woman would define you not by your third member, but by your mind, they could be a billionaire by now. A lot of them be like, I don't like him, but this is good in the bedroom, so I'm getting staying with him. That's dumb. Like you define your whole life on that? No, that's not how you define your life. Because guess what? That small time in the bedroom is a nothing compared to the amount of time you're gonna spend outside the bedroom. You gotta be thinking about what's happening outside of that. I'm not gonna stay with somebody just because of that. And that's the thing. You define him by that, and then you say, well, he ain't good for nothing but this. But that's all you wanted. You didn't say he had to bring anything else to the table. You didn't expect nothing more of him. Why he gonna produce something you didn't even ask for? He said you just want somebody who's good in the bedroom. Okay, well, good. That's what he got. He don't have to. He don't have to budget. He don't have to manage money. He don't have to know how to take care of family. He just got to be good in the bedroom. So you got the bar this low. The bar is so low, even a mouse can step over the bar. So you got to expect more. He got to expect more. He got to expect more for himself, and you got to expect more than just a bedroom. If that's what you want, then guess what? You're gonna be where you're gonna be. Your struggle's gonna be what it is. And so I say that to say this. When you find two people that have open mind, great mindset, and they're in the right mindedness, it's easy to walk the path because they're on the same path you on. If you get somebody who's, on some other level, doing some other stuff, it ain't nothing but a struggle. And they always gonna get on your nerves because they ain't even going in the same direction. You going east, he going west. She going north, he going south. It ain't gonna work out. And I'm just saying, all this other stuff, nah. So that's why for me it's easy for me to move forward because I'm not controlled by that. I'm not controlled by that. I'm that not at all. Not at all. But it takes a little bit of time for you to feel that way. For you to say that's not the central focal point of my life. It's a part of my life, but it's not my whole life. So anyway, that's a good segment for the mating game. That's another show. Back to this money.
Yeah, I was like, show is this the dating game?
That's the
I
mating
said
game.
he's on a tangent. Is this a relationship show? Or are we talking? Because you was on a
That,
roll. I'm like, what? What are we
that's
talking
why
about?
that
Did
look,
we flip the topic for today?
no,
I think we do got to
that's
do a
why look,
relationship show though.
look,
We need to do
that's
that.
why I did that. Yeah. That's why I broke up all the subject into shows because they're all different. And that's why I started making shows so we could stay on target with each subject. They all kind of intertwine in your life. Like whoever you pick
But
for
get
your
back
mate,
on finance.
yeah. Your mate is gonna determine how you live as far as your economics. You might live wealthy, poor. Whoever you choose as a mate is gonna make a lot of difference in your economics.
He, not me. Another subject because ain't nobody gonna determine how I'm gonna live. It,
Oh wait, no wait. Let me qualify this. I'm talking about when you first get married.
let's go
No,
back
when
to
you
finance.
yeah when you first get
Oh,
married and you start out. and you pick somebody, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do this, that, and the third," or you know, she says we're gonna do this, that, and the third, and then you go through nothing but struggle, and you could have chosen somebody else.
God, we're not talking that word struggle. It's definition. And it's not no struggling.
All right.
No
Well,
struggling. That's that poverty thing.
okay. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll save it for another show.
Let me recap because he went on.
Yeah, let's
Yeah, let
recap.
me recap real
Recap. Go ahead.
quick because he
Recap.
went feel
Go ahead.
what the hell
Go
that must
ahead.
have been something he needed to get off. What happens? It that we're going, I'm
Go
gonna have to
ahead.
call him after we finish. But for people because we got a couple tuned in. I think what we need to do is broadcast to Facebook too, and then we'll get a bigger audience. But
It is on Facebook. It's on
start
Facebook now.
somewhere. That's
It is.
just
It's on
try.
Facebook.
It is.
Yeah.
It's on my side
Yeah.
of Facebook.
Yes. It's in several different.
Is it on
It's
my
in my Fat
side?
Cat Capital. If you
Because
go
they
to
saying they can see the link.
if you go to Fat Cat Capital, the page, you'll see it there. It's in several other groups. I have about 3 or 4 groups that you could go in and check on it. What they need to do is go to YouTube.
You know, I'm talking about on
Yes.
my
No,
followers.
it's in it won't go on your page because you're not in the well, let me say it won't go on your page because we're not broadcasting from your page. I'm not broadcasting from my page. This is a broadcast system. They could go on YouTube.
Okay.
They could go on YouTube and
Okay.
get it, or they could go into any of the pages. They can go to WPKB Media Network, that group. They can see it there. They can see it on Patcat Capital, which is the PHAT
Okay.
KATCAPITAL, and there's probably a couple others. But it's I'm trying to look and see. Hold on 1 second. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah. So if they can get in any of those, whether it's the group or the page, you can see it about 6 or 7 different places on Facebook. I'm gonna try to read them off, but you also could go to YouTube. Fat Cat, no, not Fat Cat, WPKB Media Network on YouTube. It's on there as well. So you can look
Okay.
any of those places. But hold on a second. You go ahead and continue wrapping up. I'm looking for something. I'm gonna tell you the places in a second. I'll give you all the names
Okay.
of the places you can go.
So just make sure that you start. And if you don't say that, don't ever start something tomorrow that you can stand today because today is the day that you start. And I suggest a vision board. Vision board, I see it. It's right on the side. As soon as I get up, that's the first thing that I see. When I lay down at night, that's the last I see. So it's constantly you got to get it up here. All the other stuff that I said about know you got to do what works for you. Those affirmations, I'm telling you, work. Ones that I said don't resonate. Find or the most easiest one to remember is I am rich. One thing, and maybe one day we'll do a show that teach you how to reprogram your subconscious mind. Because your subconscious mind, you got your conscious mind, you got your subconscious mind. The conscious mind is the one that's telling you you're broke. The conscious mind is the one telling you for this. The subconscious mind, you have to reprogram it. Anything that you get a subconscious because it has no limits. So the way the subconscious mind learns is by repeating that affirmation. I am rich. I am healthy. I am wealthy. Whenever you tell it, it believes it, and it's going to do everything in its power to manifest it. I listen to affirmations. In the morning, I post Facebook. More energy because everything is energy. The more you get in tune with that energy of abundance, the more it's going to come to you. But you got to put in that work. Don't let nobody tell you that you don't have to put in that work. You got to make a plan and work that plan. So just start, even if you say tomorrow, I'm $1 a day, like I used to do. in a jar, which I put a lot of quarters because I was in the Marine Corps for 20 and we curse. It's just natural. I'm a lot more aware of it now, but just do something that's going to bring you in. It's going to allow you to do that emergency. Remember, the first thing you need to do, you got to see account, whether you do it, I would say the money market account. You want something that you have access to in an emergency. I don't know how it works. Wish I had known about that before I did that certificate. But anyway, get that emergency fund and try not to touch it. You know, it's just for that, for an emergency. You know, even if you get an emergency credit card for emergencies, but soon as you get the income, pay that credit card off. I'm not a big fan of credit cards. A lot of people like them. I don't. I use it for gas and gas only. But you could use it for an emergency. You know, if you get a flat tire, throw it on that credit card when you get paid. But you gotta start somewhere. So that emergency fund, when you get paid, you put five. I do the 10%. 10% of everything I make goes into that emergency fund. I'm all Justin. I love my stocks. I can't wait for us to talk. Bitcoin. Bitcoin is my baby. Ethereum is my baby. Ripple is my baby. I love cryptocurrency. I can't wait till we get to that portion, but we got to start you here first. Because if you don't have an emergency fund, think about none of that other stuff. Don't think about none. You gotta have that emergency fund, and then we could talk about taking 10% into an investment account, or if you want to day trade, because that's where you make fast money. So really not into that fast money. I mean, it's great, but I don't really like day trading. But start Friday. Every Friday I put on Facebook, today is Friday, don't forget to pay yourself. I buy gold. I don't buy that much gold, but silver. I mean, you get an ounce of silver now for $35. When I started buying silver, it's $10 an ounce. Now it's $35 an ounce. You could do an emergency fund, because you could always sell it back to whoever you bought it from, and so just start today. That's my closing remarks to you today. Find an affirmation that works for you. Change your mindset. You don't got to be on the same level of consciousness that I'm on, but change your mindset about yourself. Know that money is your friend. Money is not your enemy. There's no such thing as not enough money. The only way you don't have enough money is if you tell yourself you don't have enough money. Not the money here. Is the It's a journey, but you can do it. So I'll give it back over to Fat Cat. I'm going to say I leave y'all in peace and light. Looking forward to the next show. I think we're going to start this. I think we discussed that we'll be able to do it on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Maybe one day we'll do the aspect of relationships and stuff like that. But I think Thursdays should be our Thursday. We that money, that little song. Another thing you could do, that song, I don't know where it came from, that ching ching ching, and every time it rings, money comes to me, ching, money come to me. Listen to that song. It definitely listen to it. The first day I listened to it, I got a check in the mail, $15. I don't know where it came from. Something about I was in some little class action lawsuit, but I was looking, I'm like, okay. So little things like that get you in the vibration of abundance, and talk about what vibrations is and all that good stuff. But like I said, peace, love, and light. I love you guys that need help with changing your mindset. Look me up. Um, I do once also, just to get you to kind of change your mind, because everything happens. I'm off to Libra. Everybody calls me Queen. Hit me up, and I help you. Because if you don't got this right, back to you, DJ Fat Cat.
Thanks, Queen. Yeah, you have to are you signing off? It don't matter, but I was gonna tell you if you want to look in certain places for the actual show, you could check in Go Fitness, Health and Beauty inside that group, or I Am All I Am in that group, or Good and
Okay.
Yummy Cooking in that group. And I'm just giving this to the public as a whole. But that goes back to knowing business. This is also going to be a rebroadcast on the Roku channel. I think I mentioned it a couple times that we have a Roku channel for the WPKB Media Network. So every time that we do have a program, I later on have it rebroadcast on that channel. If you have Roku, you'll be able to see some of the programs on there. But on the business side, because a lot of people don't know this, and I'm going to give somebody some jewels right now. When you are actually recording your individual content, when you're recording it the way that it's being recorded on Facebook, you don't really have quote unquote ownership or control. You can't download that and go where you need to go and broadcast. People don't understand the business of broadcasting. That's the reason why when you have a a software or system, I can broadcast mine, I can download it and walk away and go and do whatever. But I don't think you can pull down your individual recording out of your Facebook once you're done. That is a limitation that I don't need. I can go live. I've got 10,000 plus people on Facebook. I can go live as an individual, but it's not the same as when I broadcast through my software or my system, and then it also is recorded on my YouTube, on my page, on my YouTube, so that I can
Okay.
download that and I can load it onto Roku. There's a lot to be said about the business of broadcasting. So that's the one of the reasons why you'll notice why things are done in just a certain way when it comes to what I do. So that being all said, this is a great show. We're supposed to do this every Thursday. We're gonna do the I Am All I Am on Tuesday. I may pop in on the Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I also have plenty of interviews that I do throughout the week on the Give Me the Mic show. So you'll see me on different shows doing different things, moving forward, always keeping my mind on the prize and staying focused. Queen, thank you so much. Should I pop you off now and I'll do some wrap up business and I'll let you go about yourself and we'll go ahead and catch up for next Tuesday. That's Queen, y'all. I want y'all to give her a shout
All
out if you need to holler at
right.
her. She told you how to get in touch with her. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Peace and love.
Yeah. So again, the show tonight is, I like to say sponsored, but it's my business. So Fat Cat Capital, earning and learning. We're going to continue to enlighten you on the basics of getting your money right, getting the basics that you need to get it started. And it is a little bit of a hand holding and it does require some changing of the mindset, the changing of the thinking. Fatcatcapital@gmail.com. That's where you hit me. I'm thinking I might just make it in a group form where I'll have like 5 or 6 people kind of coming in and doing what they need to do. Continue to elevate yourself mentally because this is, right now between the next 5 years or so, there's going to be a tremendous amount of wealth building being done on the stock market, on the entrepreneurial side, people just doing their own thing. For example, Walmart just started something similar to Amazon. If you go to headquarters.walmart.com, you now can have your own Walmart store. So you have to be on the lookout for these opportunities. Whether we're talking about starting you with the basics and how do you start to put money aside so you can start to build up, or we're talking about you're already at that stage, you want to talk about having an online business, or you're in an investment situation that you want to get involved with investments, or you want to get involved in trading, which is two different things. This is the place you want to be. I'm your host, DJ Fat Cat L, doing it for the people. I'll talk to you soon. Stay tuned tomorrow. Give Me the Mic show on Friday. We're going to have Young Ice in the building, artist out of Charlotte. I want you to tune in for that tomorrow at 6 p.m. I'll be talking to you soon. Be safe. Stay woke. Peace.